We're up. We are live. Welcome in, everybody. Let's get rocking and rolling.
This is Armed American Radio.
If they want to take my guns, they're going to have to bring a station wagon and a whole lot of friends, because I'm not giving them anything.
From the Car Firearms Group studio at the Patriot Mobile Communication Center. Proudly presented to you by the National Rifle Association. National Rifle Association. Here is your host of Armed American Radio, the loudest conservative voice in America fighting for your rights, Mark Walters.
Oh, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome in. Armed American Radio's Monster Cast begins right now from these Car Firearms Group studios here on the CZ microphone. Mark Walters filling your prescription for freedom today and every day. And, of course, it's all being brought to you by the National Rifle Association. We appreciate all of our great sponsors and partners. You can find them all at armedamericanradio.com or .org. Take your pick. We've got you covered. We're getting ready to kick off, which I hope for you is a vacation week. It is an upcoming vacation week for us. After tomorrow, Ryan Petty will be joining me on the program Monday, and then we'll be off the remainder of the week until Sunday. We're running some fun encores for you and all that fun stuff. We're going to try to take a few days off. We're live for you on Facebook.com/ArmedAmericanRadio right now if you want to watch the program over there. Greg in Dallas, Texas, who is not happy with a Texas Roadhouse meal you had today. How are you?
Yeah.
That's rare, brother, because they're usually really good.
It is. Usually they do a pretty good job, but tonight they kind of missed the mark.
On both the baked potato and the steak. That's
it's rare you get the double up there where they mess up both of them.
So, needless to say, Greg took a bite of the potato, cut into it. It was rotten on one side. He bit into the steak. It was all gristly and grimy, and he went, okay, let's go to the show.
Yeah, here we are. I guess I'll eat the bread and the salad.
And call for Telly's Pizza. That's a pretty good call.
Something.
Guys, we're going to be running an encore in the third hour of the program today. We're giving everybody the night off today to let them start their Christmas. As I mentioned, we will have Ryan Petty. We're going to tape early tomorrow so we can get Ryan on the program for you tomorrow afternoon. And today we're going to have some fun today. We're going to kind of take it a little bit light. We'll cover what we need to cover with you. But, Greg, I'll let you get started, then we'll go right over to reporter Neil McCabe from redstate.com, who's losing his Boston accent.
Yeah, sure. Other places to watch the show are going to be YouTube and Rumble. Just do a search for Armed American Radio with Mark Walters. Over on X, we're at AAR Mark. You can find us at armedamericanradio.org or .com. Hit that menu icon, then select your watch live or listen live option. And lastly, to join our live chat, just download Telegram, create your profile, and search for Armed American Radio Conversations.
Boom, pow, zam. That'll do it for you. Welcome in, everybody that's watching on the live streams. We see the numbers growing right now as everybody jumps in. Reporter Neil McCabe, redstate.com, losing his Boston accent. How you doing, my brother?
Hey, Mac.
Hey, Mac.
I hope you have a wicked Merry Christmas.
Well, you know I'm going to try.
Good to talk to you, Pally. Merry Christmas to all the knuckleheads on Armed American Radio Conversations. And when I hosted for you, was it Monday?
I think it was Monday. I don't remember. Yeah, I think it was.
The knuckleheads were pretty generous. They're always telling me when I blow the brake or when I screw up, and so one of them, I think it was Walters. One of them just said, "Hey Neil, look, great job going into that break. Like I actually nailed one." So I was thrilled.
Well, look, let's be real.
Fun.
You hadn't been in the seat for about a year, so that's understandable. But I'm glad you're back. I'm so glad you're back. So you get a couple mulligans in there, Neil. You get a couple mulligans. So
listen, it's the mulligan hour, okay? It's the mulligan hour, Mark.
Yeah, it'll come back to you, brother. It'll come back to you, and I appreciate you being there. Believe me, had a lot going on. So I want to start with this, Neil. My kids are on a flight right now on their way back from Phoenix, where they were out. They stayed in Scottsdale, and they were out there for the Turning Point convention for the last 4 days, and they had a wonderful time. And they, my daughter and my niece had been there before a couple years ago, and my son and my nephew went this time. And when they walked in, they were utterly shocked at the crowd. Over 30 to 35,000 people packed into that, and they had a fantastic time. However, they were texting us as it was just beginning, when Erica Kirk came out, and by the way, I think gave a phenomenal speech, phenomenal speech. But that was followed by Ben Shapiro. And I'm going to be honest with you right up front. I'm not a big fan of Ben Shapiro. Never have been. I've never met the man. I respect everything about him. Everybody's entitled to their opinions. But he jumped out there and he started hammering on everybody pretty quick. And he went right after Tucker Carlson. Tucker followed him after a couple other speakers. So the two of them were trading barbs, and it was not lost on mainstream media. My question to you is, as fake as media is, and these guys both know it, was that a smart thing to do?
I think it's interesting that these conversations are being held at Turning Point AmFest, and it's actually healthy for the conservative movement that everybody is inside the same tent. And so, yeah, I mean, first of all, Tucker Carlson, any of my interactions with him, he's been phenomenal with me. When I was working at my previous job, my boss did a 3-hour interview with Tucker, and he was just completely gracious and funny and smart. And then Ben Shapiro, I knew him when he worked at Breitbart. I joined Breitbart right after he sort of left. But again, the guy's been great to me. But there's problems. We've had, we were talking about it last week about, we had issues with the National Rifle Association, and these are family discussions held around the family table, and we're all inside the same tent, and it's something that happens in Republican and conservative politics that people kvetch and they complain and they whine and they point fingers, and then everyone rallies at the end. And that's why a lot of the pollings miss the move. There's always a move for the Republican candidate in the last week that the polls, it's like, so guys who are supposed to lose by 5 end up losing by 2. Guys who are supposed to lose by 3 end up winning by 5 because of there's always a last surge where everybody's complaining and then everybody rallies at the end. It's healthy. We're airing our discussions, and I'm glad it's happening inside the House. And it's interesting that it's not at like the Republican convention, which isn't really a place where anything gets discussed, not like the old days.
Right.
So, yeah, that's my take on it. And then Erica Kirk is such a wonderful woman. My wife and I actually spent a few minutes with her at the old Trump Hotel in D.C., and she took a picture with my wife, and I had actually been a guest on Charlie Kirk's show one time, and I'd interviewed him at One American News and other places, and so I had the opportunity to express my condolences to her, and the staffer came over to brush us away so she could go, and she told the staffer, "We can go when I'm done speaking to them," and it was just such a top-notch class move. Really meant a lot to me.
Well, is it really inside the tent when millions are watching and the mainstream media is feeding on it? All you had to do was go over to that sellout turncoat Drudge and take a look at the headlines on Drudge Report. I don't spend a lot of time over there anymore, but I do to...
I haven't been on Drudge in 5 years.
Well, I look at it to watch the opposite side because that's what it is right now. And, whether you like it or not, Drudge still gets tons and tons of...
over there.
Well, he still gets tons and tons and tons of hits. And it provides an opportunity for liberal media to go over there, and it's just a feeding frenzy over there. That bothered me a little bit. I agree with everything that you said. And I think it's healthy that, those within the party air their grievances. I have no problem with that whatsoever. I'm not sure that was the venue to do it when you've got 35,000 very young kids from high school age on up who are the future of the conservative movement, who are making a huge impact across the country. To witness that, to me, it seemed like a little bit of nonsense. Steve Bannon came out and said it all straight, Mark. By the way, your friend Steve, who's been a guest on the show as well, but he nailed it too.
All 35,000 people there, they all knew the controversies. They all knew the arguments. And, and I love CPAC, but at CPAC, they used to air differences. You used to have competing speakers. You used to have that kind of vibrancy, right? And now everything is straight-laced and predictable, whereas it doesn't reflect, like at CPAC, the problem is that the speakers don't always reflect the mood and conversations in the hallways. Whereas at AmFest, the stuff that people are talking about at the booths and in the hallways and in the bars right? All that stuff is actually being reflected on stage, which I think is healthy and authentic.
I don't disagree with that. I would like to have seen the Second Amendment play a little bit bigger role at AmFest this year. The speeches that I watch, and we'll segue to that. We're getting ready to take our first break, Neil, so pay attention and watch how it's done, okay?
Sure.
But
hit the post?
I had to go there with you just for fun, just funning with you,
please.
just funning with you. But when we come back, we'll segue to that because, again, I would have liked to have seen what I saw. It played no role in what I watched, okay? And I would have liked to have seen it play a little bit bigger role. I understand why it might not be. And the reason it's not at AmFest or even maybe some of the other Republican or conservative conventions or get-togethers is what we're going to be talking about, because it's also why the industry is hurting right now. Because what? We'll talk about it with Neil McCabe when we come back. We've got him for one more segment. Don't go away. You're on the Armed American Radio Network.
I'm currently giving Roadhouse a sausage on this. What is it?
Hey guys,
the
as you
review
can
they
tell,
sent me.
Craig is not happy. You giving him a Yelp review right now?
It's something. It's one they send like every time I order from them. It's a familiar link, and so it's like just their usual. Hey, how'd we do? Give us a 5-star rating.
Yeah, well, you didn't deserve a 5-star rating. Look, they're like any credit card company, right? I love it. I call American Express. Thanks for being a member for 43 years, which is a fake number anyway. My wallet got stolen. Somebody that stole it opened up an American Express in my name and actually used it for about 2 years and helped me build my credit before he got caught. And it was never wiped off my credit because it was good credit. So we left it there. So I thanked the thief. But where I was going with that was, you be with American Express 43 years, never miss a payment. You miss one payment, they'll sue your ass. Roadhouse, dude, you might have been going in there every day for 10 years. Love the waiters and waitresses and the staff. You go in there, get drunk, and fall down and knock over a table, you ain't never going back again. They'll throw you out. My
Back
point,
in 3.
give them a bad review.
What they're getting.
How about an honest review? Not a bad review, an honest review. There you go.
That's what I'm giving them.
Yep.
The following segment of Armed American Radio is proudly being brought to you by the National Rifle Association. Help us defend freedom by visiting nra.org/AAR and join today. Welcome back to the show.
Yeah, welcome back, guys. Regarding the National Rifle Association, now is a perfect time to join. I have no indication that any prices are going up. What I can tell you is that you knock $10 off by doing the 1 year with us. It's $35 using the AAR promo code. Please take advantage of that. It's very, very important. And you'll understand even more so if you've been on the fence about the NRA for a while, and many have, and I understand that. They understand that. There are good reasons for that. I'm here to tell you that they've been fixed, and they're working on it, and I know what's going on behind the scenes. And we need your support at National Rifle Association right now to get the things done that the National Rifle Association is attempting to accomplish under new leadership. Wayne's World is gone, ladies and gentlemen, and I'd hate for you not to take advantage of a great discount. If you can give us 1 year, it's $35. That's all we're asking. You can go 3, you can go 5, you can go life if you want. If you do life, it's going to save you $500. But in the meantime, $35 gets you in for 1 year. Give us a chance, please. And I say us because I'm neck deep with the NRA and proud to be standing with the NRA right now in the new management team. And I hope you will be too. $35. It's an inexpensive way to get involved. Neil McCabe, welcome back in, my brother. Let's go back to that conversation. I was disappointed that I didn't see any more focus on the 2A. However, I'm not surprised. Here's why. Because Trump is in office. There's no threat.
Right.
People feel no threat. So they don't feel a need to talk about it because there's no fear of our losing our guns. And what that breeds, sadly, is complacency. What I would have liked to have seen would be people stand up and talk about the 2A in those terms. This is fleeting. You go back to Solomon's Proverbs, right? This too shall pass, Neil. Is that true?
Well, yeah, and it's not like they stop. It's not like, we walk away and we say, okay, problem solved. The left, the Democrats, they run through the tape.
They're not stopping.
They never give up. They always are looking for a way. They have pre-packaged modules, right? As soon as a tragedy happens, their people are out. They've got their talking points. All the statements are lined up. They are ready to go at all times. And frankly, their donors put the money into these programs so that they know how to do the media. And frankly, the donors on the Republican or conservative side don't really step up. Everyone seems to think, okay, well, Trump will just handle it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Trump can't do it by himself. And he's done enormous things, significant things, historic things, literally by himself. And frankly, he has more help now than he did, say, 4 years ago. But, the next guy coming in, you don't know. You could have a Mitt Romney. You could have somebody come in, says, you know what, I think we should be reasonable about guns. And then when it's off to the races.
Yeah, Mitt Romney, by the way, talking about how people like him need to be paying more taxes. There you go. There's Mitt Romney for you. It's why he wasn't president.
Yeah, well, no one's stopping him from sending in a little something extra.
Sure, go right ahead.
Give all his money away.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Mitt.
Well, but let's talk a little bit about that fear. I want people, ladies and gentlemen, if you live in Virginia, I don't care who's in office. You're about ready to get hammered in the state of Virginia. All you've got to do is take a look at what's going on in Australia. And if you don't think for 2 seconds that the American left and the American gun grabbers are going to start screaming and hollering for Australian-style common sense gun laws, which is confiscation, ladies and gentlemen. They're going to take your guns. They've already said it. Their prime minister has already said so. They're going to take your guns, hundreds of thousands of them, and force you to turn them in under the guise of a buyback. And isn't that what the left wants to do here, Neil? So I'm a little dismayed by the fact that, yeah, Trump's in office. Yes. Oh, yay. Good. That's a beautiful thing. Trump's not going to be in office forever. And all we've got to do is look at what the Democrats are trying to do behind the blue curtain right now in those 12 states, predominantly those 12 states. Take a look at that goofball clown Waltz going after more gun control. Go ahead.
They say, I hear all the time, it'll never happen here. Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I never guessed the Somalis would come in, 20 years after Black Hawk Down, the Somalis would come in and rip us off for $9 or $10 billion, right? What happened in Australia is crazy because they banned semi-automatics. When they say buyback sounds nice. Buyback sounds like it's up to me. These are mandatory buybacks.
Oh, yeah.
These are confiscations where they give you $200, and it's like it's.
Or you go to jail,
and then
bro.
Restrictions. Well, and then look at Canada. We were talking last time about how Australia had a very masculine, Crocodile Dundee culture. Okay, the people who went to Australia back in the 13 original colonies, Georgia was no offense, Mark, but it's the truth. Georgia was a prison colony, right? That's what the role of Georgia was. That's where the English would send their criminals, right? And you were given a choice: we can hang you or send you to Georgia. A lot of people said, "Hang me. I'm not going to Georgia." Right? That's the fact. A lot of people took hanging rather than go to Georgia. After the American Revolution, the English needed a new prison colony. That's Australia. Okay, that's the culture, the rough and tumble culture of Australia. And for them to be completely emasculated and disarmed the way they are, if it can happen to Australia, it can happen anywhere. And then you look at Canada, and then, of course, Cuba, Venezuela. There's a story during World War II when there were American troops in China, in the areas where they knew they were in an area controlled by the communists, because you could hear coyotes and wolves howling at the moon, because the farmers had been disarmed and they couldn't shoot the coyotes. If you were in an area controlled by the nationalist government, the farmers were allowed to keep their guns and they would shoot the wolves and the coyotes, right? Well, those wolves and coyotes, they don't go away, and they're around us. And it's like, every time I see a prison break, right? What are you supposed to do? 5 guys break out of prison, right? There have been times guys would be out for 2 or 3 weeks, right, on the lam.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're knocking on doors. What are you supposed to do? You don't have a gun. It'll take 20 minutes for the cops to get to your house just so they can put tape around your yard and take statements and photographs. And they put those little cones where they found shells and drops of blood. That can happen, and we have to remain vigilant. I did want to shift gears, if I could, Mark.
Yeah, go ahead.
Slip one in.
Got about a minute.
Stefanik pulling out of the governor's race in New York is horrible.
Yeah.
Her husband works for the NSFSF, will host the SHOT Show. She is pro-gun. She is pro-MAGA. I'm not sure what went down there. It is not good for gun ownership. The guy, Bruce Brakeman, Nassau County Supervisor, not necessarily a friend of gun owners. We'll see how it shakes out. But we had a chance to have a Republican governor of New York and who supported gun rights a lot. That's a shame.
I have a gut feeling that what happened with Stefanik was just simply family related. Kids, husband, just stop. We need you home. That's the way it was portrayed, and that may very well be the case. But you're correct. It's likely that Hochul will sadly win that election again. That's not good for gun owners. Neil McCabe, RedState.com. We love you, brother. Welcome back. Always fun to have you. Next up, AWR Hawkins from Breitbart News. Don't go away. We'll be back. You are on the Armed American Radio Network. I'm Mark Walters. Back right after the break.
Hey, it's Andy Hoosier, the voice of reason on KQAM, Wichita's Big Talker, and you're tuned into the Armed American Radio Network. Now let's get back to the man himself, Mark Walters.
Yeah, welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen. Mark Walters here, Car Firearms Group Studios in front of the powerful CZ microphone. Patriot Mobile Command Center lit up. The on-air lights are blinking. It's all brought to you by the National Rifle Association. And, Greg, I got to get this out now. We're not going to have Andy on the show this week on Monday, and then we'll be off Tuesday through Saturday. But I was watching a UFO documentary earlier this morning, and one of the theories was that the UFOs are us coming back through time.
Oh, yeah.
To try to help ourselves. So
I've heard this. Yeah.
It was pretty fascinating. And, of course, anytime I watch something like that, I can't help but think of Andy Hoosier. Of course, he goes by the moniker, the voice of reason. KQAM, Wichita's Big Talker. We love our Andy Hoosier. We're going to miss him this week, but you got a good one. All right, guys, make sure to visit all of our sponsors, won't you please, at armedamericanradio.com. Barrel Buddy. Make sure to pick up some Barrel Buddies. I see a lot of you are doing that lately. This is a great time of year to do that. And by the way, if you become an affiliate, which you can do by using the AAR promo code, you can make some money with Barrel Buddy. Why not? Use them. They're great. They're patented. Clean your gun, 2 swipes, boom, it's done. Right there at the range, put it back in your holster, put it back in the bag. Your gun is clean. No more patch, no more mess, no more smell, no more dirty fingers, and no spouse yelling at you. Say, that stuff stinks. Barrel Buddy solves all that. Patented technology, and you can make money in the process. So make sure to check it out, barrelbuddy.com, and use the promo code AAR. It's all self-explanatory there for you on the website. And, of course, you can get there through our website at armedamericanradio.com. Let's go to AWR Hawkins from Breitbart News. AWR, welcome in, my friend. How the heck are you?
I'm doing great, buddy. Good to be with you.
Yeah, it's good to have you. It always is. You ready for Christmas?
Yeah, pretty much. I have one more thing that needs to come in, a little gift to wrap, and other than that,
Biscuit.
Amazon. I've got 2 more left coming in as well. I hate to say this on a live mic, but I bought my kids some really cool range stuff. And, he's in the air right now. As you know, he was out in Phoenix for the Turning Point Convention. He's in the air right now, and we've got, it came in a couple days early, but I got him a really nice bunch of kits for the range. He's a big shooter now, and I love it. Speaking of that, let's talk CZ for just a second, because you have a piece up. German Army awards the contract for the CZ P13 9mm pistol. That's great news for CZ. That's a big contract, brother. What do we know about that?
Well, it's the P10COR pistol, and that is the P10 compensated optics-ready pistol. I happen to have it. Now,
that's nice.
German Army, for the German Army, they will call it a P13. But I'm a P10 fan. They are tack drivers, and my experience, I can't remember how long I've had my previous P9. I can't remember ever one time. I mean it. I can't remember a malfunction. And usually, I don't want to put any gun maker down. There's a very popular gun that if someone shoots it and they put their weight on the back of their feet instead of the front, they can stovepipe it pretty easy. And it's a wildly popular gun, not a CZ. But I'm just saying, it's fairly easy to figure out a way to make a lot of very popular guns a malfunction. Never been able to do it with a CZ. And so I'm very happy. I'm also happy for this reason, as you know. You think about German-made, Austrian-made guns. You got H&K. You've got the Walther brands over there. You've got Glock. I could keep naming popular brands. And for them to go outside of their own country and go with this gun, a CZ gun, that's a heck of an accomplishment, in my opinion.
No, I can't disagree with that at all. And every CZ I've ever shot has been dead on, my cousin Vinny, accurate, no question. And like you, I've never had a malfunction. You've likely put more rounds through a CZ than I have, but I have never, ever, ever had a problem. And you're right. You can force a gun to malfunction. You can force a gun to stovepipe, fail to feed, whatever it may be. I've not had any issues with the CZ, but to be fair, there's other guns that I have not had issues with either. And you're right. It can be made to do that. Let's talk about malfunctions. Let's talk about a gun jamming and a stupid criminal all in the same story. because this video that I saw that you have posted is incredible. You have a shoplifter who I guess was being questioned. There was a cop there. I guess they were going to have him arrested. I don't know if that was a store detective or where he was. I don't believe he was in a police department. You can set us straight on that. But he's sitting on a bench, and it looks like he's with his significant other, and they belong together. And ladies and gentlemen, if you watch the video, you'll know what I'm talking about. I'll just leave it at that. No more description necessary. You can watch it. AWR's got the video linked up on his page. But the headline is "Gun Jams as Suspect Allegedly Tries to Shoot Cop Point Blank," and it's caught in clear high-definition video. There's no grainy UFO footage here, ladies and gentlemen. This guy reaches in to apparently a pocket. He kind of turns sideways to retrieve a firearm, points it at the cop, and what happened? Because he was trying to kill the cop at near point-blank range.
Right, the gun malfunction, and this could have been a happy ending story. This was in a Walmart security room. They had busted him allegedly shoplifting. They had him sitting on the bench in that security room, and when the cop walks by him, he jerks a gun, as you said. And it looks like he's aiming at the cop's head. And anyway, thank goodness it malfunctioned. But the cop then was going to shoot him, which the cop would have been 100% justified.
Sure.
Was going to shoot him, but he was worried because there was a Walmart employee in there who immediately got on this kid to disarm him. And so the cop didn't want to hit that employee. If I had my druthers, that employee would have run the other way, and that cop would have put about 5 at him, and we would have been talking about how attractive his body bag was, not about the evil intentions he had. But either way, here we are, and they got him on video, as you said, so yeah. It ought to be a short hearing.
Yeah, you know, I forget who it was I saw speaking, and it might have been at the Turning Point. Or it might have been a video. I can't recall. I've watched so much of the garbage over the last days and weeks doing this for a living. But when you've got someone like this on video doing this, it should be open and shut. Yeah, you're innocent until proven guilty. When you've got somebody on video, no, we need to move right past that. Make sure we know what we're seeing on the video. Make sure we know it's legit, and then just take him right to trial. And I'm trying to be FCC friendly here. But this could have turned out very bad. It was in Canton, Ohio, by the way. And ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't seen the video, many of you probably have. It's made the rounds. But I would highly recommend and suggest that you do. I thought the cop showed tremendous restraint when he holstered and took him down. I really, truly did. Because he did have ample opportunity. There was a few seconds there where he could have put rounds into him. And probably should have. I don't know. When you've got somebody that's pointing a gun at you and it goes click as it's pointed at your head, I don't know how you refrain from doing that, AWR. So much kudos to the cop for restraining that, I guess.
Kudos to the cop, for real. That is serious restraint.
Yes.
And that's it.
Yeah, so I guess it was a gun jam. And ladies and gentlemen, when you watch the video, just trust that that's what it was a gun jam. And that's coming from the individuals who were actually on the scene there. It's kind of hard to tell that because it happened so quickly. But again, when you watch it, you'll come to your own conclusion. And I think you'll agree with AWR and I. There's a couple split seconds in there when that cop could have ended it very quickly and not hurt anybody else in the process. AWR, when we come back, we'll cover a few more stories that you have. You've got a bunch of them up here. We'll take a look during the break and pick the cream of the crop. They're all the cream of the crop, but we'll get to as many of them as we can. Ladies and gentlemen, we are kicking off your Christmas week, and that's exactly what it is. This is Sunday. It is 43 minutes after the hour, whatever time you're watching in your time zone, and we are getting ready to enjoy a Christmas week with our family. We're hoping you're getting ready to do the same thing. We've got one more segment with the great AWR Hawkins from Breitbart News, and then when we come back in the second hour, we have Quang Nguyen, Arizona representative, who has not been on the show for a few weeks, and we're looking forward to getting him back. He always has a lot to talk to us about. We'll be back right after the break on the flip side here with AWR Hawkins from Breitbart News. Don't go away. One more segment with AWR, and then a full hour with Arizona Rep Quang Nguyen, and we'll call it a day, and you can start your week like we will. We'll be right back. Mics are up. Camera's up in a minute. Coming back to you now, ladies and gentlemen.
This segment is brought to you by Attorneys on Retainer. Get the only self-defense program for gun owners backed by a real law firm, the Attorneys for Freedom. Visit them online at attorneysonretainer.us. Welcome back.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you know, this is so important, and it's even more important today, and it will be even more important throughout the week, because on January 1, the $35 is going up. It's not going up significantly, but it is going to go up. And it doesn't have to, because you can lock it in at $35 right now, and the price will hold through 2030. I would highly recommend that you put this in your wallet. Every one of my family members has one, and I know many of you have. Those of you who are still on the fence, if you carry a firearm, why would you not have this card in your wallet and have an attorney on retainer immediately for $35 a month? It is an absolute no-brainer, okay? Just do this. Take advantage of it. I know a lot of you have been thinking about it. I've had some conversations with a number of you by email, etc. Folks, just do this. I don't care if it's $10, $15, $20 it goes up. It's still a great deal. But why pay it when you don't have to? You can lock it in at $35 a month right now. And if you have to go to trial because you had to use a firearm, God forbid, you'll have 4 attorneys on your team. 4. And it's still $35 a month. Okay? You can lock that in through 2030. Take advantage of that. All of the information is there for you at armedamericanradio.com. It is attorneysonretainer.us. Use the promo code AAR. Lock that price in through 2030. Take advantage of that right now. Coming up in the next hour, I'll give you some more information on what's happening at the conference coming up in February, but we'll save that one. Guys, you can visit everybody, all of our great sponsors at armedamericanradio.com, armedamericanradio.com, including Crossbreed, Bud's Gun Shop, all right, Goat Guns, Patriots Relief, and we've got a new sponsor coming on. You'll be hearing them coming up over the course of the next several days, and that's Blackout Coffee, and we're excited to be welcoming them to the program. AWR Hawkins, welcome back, my brother. Fun to have you here, as always.
Oh, thank you. Good to be with you.
So let's talk confiscation in Australia. And before I do that, I want to mention what I did. I'm not sure if you heard the first half hour when I was talking with Neil McCabe, our good friend. But as I was watching some of the Turning Point, and as you know, my kids were there, my niece and nephew, they had a great time. They're right now just getting ready to land in about 20 minutes on what was a great trip for them. And the speeches I watched, AWR, and I know you watched some of them too, and I think you saw some that I didn't, but I did not see any focus on the 2A, on the Second Amendment, which disappointed me a little bit, but I understand why. And as I mentioned to Neil, people feel safe because Trump is in office. There's no fear of losing our guns under a Trump administration. Meanwhile, we see what's going on in Australia, which you wrote about. That's where we're going now. We're just going to kind of lead into that. But we know that the American left will never stop. And you know as well as I do, AWR, that the moment everything is announced and they begin the confiscatory buyback, which is what it is, the confiscation, forced confiscation, under the ruse of a buyback, that the American gun grabbers are going to start screaming, because they've already done it, that we need Australian-style gun control. Kamala Harris mentioned it multiple times prior to the campaign, then she shut her trap about it. Hillary Clinton's been all over it, and we know they're going to be after it. So it bothers me that we're not focusing on the 2A at these big conservative conventions when we can. To me, it reeks of complacency. We see what's happening. We know what they want. And I would like your thoughts on all of that.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I can't give you any thoughts on the Turning Point event because I didn't go to it. And I've only seen bits and pieces of a few speeches. But I can say where there is complacency, there's no room for it and no time for it. People have to understand, and this is what Trump does understand, politics is power. Now, the Democrats have understood that, and starting in the 1950s all the way up till now, they have used politics for power and to accomplish their agenda. And so Trump's in. We always get these little measly little Republicans like a George W. Bush. He gets in, and he's just happy that he kind of stemmed the tide for a little while. Well, that's not how you play the game. You get in there and you accomplish your agenda and you roll back their agenda at the same time. That's why there's no room to rest on our laurels. And that's why I say, well, there is complacency. If there is complacency, it's wrong. You're losing ground if you're complacent. And yes, the Australian deal, what a joke, you know.
Oh, yeah,
they're
it's
like
bad.
they have more guns. They have more guns now in their country than they had when they did the original ban. And but those guns, you know, we're talking about guns that farmers would use for predator and other type vermin control. And you're largely talking about shotguns, bolt action rifles, those kinds of things. And so now they're going to take those, and that's a good lesson because the left will say, well, we're going to pass an assault weapon ban, but we're going to grandfather you in. You can keep your assault weapon. Well, ironically, Rhode Island has been in the news quite a bit. It was the Rhode Island governor who was ready to revisit their assault weapons ban to do away with the grandfather clause after it had been passed so that they could go ahead and get rid of even more guns. And that's how it works. It's insidious. And you see it in Australia. First they banned the scary black rifles, and now they want to ban the bolt actions and the shotguns and everything else. And I'm just telling you, folks, you got to fight it tooth and nail. If you're complacent, you're losing. Write it down.
Yeah, take that one to the bank, and that's why I was a little bit disappointed. We've got to continue the conversation. It doesn't matter that Trump's in office, ladies and gentlemen. Now's when we need to be on the gasoline. You understand me? Now we need to be on the accelerator. This is why when, Armed American Radio doesn't go away because Donald Trump's in office. Google 2 words, gun control, right now, and take a list of everything that's in there current over the course of the last 24, 36, 48, 72 hours. There's a litany of it because they never stop. I don't care if you're hearing about it on national news right now. This is why it needs to be brought up at these conventions. It's why I was somewhat disappointed that it wasn't, because that does tend to breed complacency, and complacency is extremely dangerous. What do we know about the shooter? Do you have any final words on Brown? Because the guy offed himself. You were right a few days ago when we talked about the MIT connection as well. What do we know? Anything new?
Oh, no. I mean, he went to school with the MIT professor in Portugal, so he was a Portuguese national. He and the MIT professor went to a technical school together in Portugal in the 1990s. So we know that raises as many questions as it answers, but there could have been some kind of connection, which could have been nothing more than a grudge that he held. It could have been who knows what, but definitely connections there. And when you watch how the police were able to map his movements via traffic cameras and this and that, they know that he went there. And so, it's kind of all wrapped up now.
Real quick before we go, we've only got 30 seconds, but Representative Clyde is leading a coalition urging AG Bondi to align with congressional intent against NFA registration. How do you see that proceeding? You've got about 20 seconds.
Well, there are enough people with Clyde, and Clyde's a good man, but there are enough people with him that I believe we might see some traction on this, and that would be nice.
Right.
Look, if there is no tax, there's no justification for registration. There's just not, and so it needs to go away.
I hope you're right about that, and I hope she feels enough pressure, and I'm a little bit disappointed that she needs to be pressured, but that's a whole new show, and we don't have time to go into that with you right now. AWR Hawkins, Merry Christmas to you, your beautiful wife and kids, and I'll see you soon. Good heavens, Christmas coming up. AWR, enjoy it. Thank you for everything that you bring to Armed American Radio for, decade and a half now, losing track of time. AWR Hawkins, ladies and gentlemen, you can find him. Just search, whatever search engine you use, AWR Hawkins, Breitbart News, all of his stuff will come up for you that you can read in a line, just like we do right here, one right after the other. You'll find them all. Great work from AWR. When we come back, Arizona Representative Quang Nguyen will be here. You know him as the Shredder. And, of course, he is the House Judiciary Chair there as well. We'll be back with him at 6 minutes after. Don't go away. One more hour to go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a very quick break. 6 minutes after the hour. If you're a fan, you already know that. We'll be back shortly, so stick around with us. Quang Nguyen from Arizona will be here, and we'll see you on the flip side of this break. Don't go away. Greg, what do you got planned for the week? Your mic is live, by the way. What's up, everybody?
Planned for the week. Let's see. I'm going to be here for a good part of the week. I'm going to try to take a couple days off.
Yeah, we'll have Ryan on tomorrow. And then, guys, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we'll be running encores. There was a time early on in my career where that didn't fly, Law Dog. But I get sick and tired of hearing, you haven't taken a week off in so long. Can't you take some time off? From my kids, not my wife. My wife's happy with me working all the time. Funny how that works. But I've already started the process of playing these guitars until my fingers and ears bleed.
Quang Nguyen on hold.
Roger that. I walked into that Righteous Guitars in Alpharetta on Saturday, and I took one look around. I've been there a number of times. And I just looked at the guy behind the counter, and I said, I'll take one of everything.
I'm sure he got that grin like I've heard that before.
Yeah, he said, we can make that happen. It'll take a while. They've got guitars going up 25 feet. And the rafters up there, I don't even know how they get them down.
You wouldn't get to all of them in a lifetime.
Nah, they've got, they have a PRS custom in there that runs about $25,000 that is just absolutely gorgeous. Now, does it sound any better than any of the others? It's hard to tell. Their lower end guitars are better than most manufacturers' high end guitars. Same thing I feel with a Padron cigar, you know, the 3,000, 5,000, 7,000 brown labels from Padron are better than everybody else's high ends. Their high ends, better than any Cuban you can ever smoke. Of course, that's not saying much lately because the quality of those sticks has gone way down over the years. But I find myself playing those PRS guitars far more than I'm playing the Gibsons right now. They're just beautiful. Picked up a hollow body, semi-hollow body, single cut. Absolutely gorgeous tone. Plug them into those Marshalls and something magical happens.
All right, here we go.
This is Armed American Radio.
If they want to take my guns, they're going to have to bring a station wagon and a whole lot of friends because I'm not giving them anything.
From the Car Firearms Group studio at the Patriot Mobile Communication Center. Proudly presented to you by the National Rifle Association. National Rifle Association. Here is your host of Armed American Radio, the loudest conservative voice in America fighting for your rights, Mark Walters.
All right, guys, welcome in. If you are just joining us, welcome to the program. If you are rejoining us, welcome back to the program. Hour 1 in the tank, Hour 2 underway right now here on the Armed American Radio Monster Cast. Some people have just, I guess we've been on the air 17 years. I still get that question. Why do you call it the Monster Cast? Because we're on hundreds of radio stations. That makes it the Monster Cast. And we love being here with you and all of our wonderful affiliates across the country every single day. We appreciate every single one of you. It's the start of Christmas week. So Merry Christmas to each and every one of you. And welcome to the broadcast today. Mark Walters here in the Car Firearms Group studios with you in front of the powerful CZ microphone at the Patriot Mobile Command Center Ranch. Got the cool Patriot Mobile hat on. I was able to get that away from my kid. My son just loves this thing. He keeps taking it from me all the time, and I was able to keep it from him before he took off and went to Arizona. So I got it, and I love wearing it. PatriotMobile.com, ladies and gentlemen. Use the promo code AAR and flip a phone or two over like I have, okay? Just take care of business. You'll get a free month and all that fun stuff, and Patriot Mobile is the real deal, and you're at the Patriot Mobile Ranch with me. Greg, we're live on Facebook.com/Armed American Radio, Facebook.com/Armed American Radio if you want to watch us over there. But please don't do so if you're driving. Greg, I'll let you do your thing, and then we'll get cracking. We've got Quang Nguyen, Arizona Representative and House Judiciary Chair, for the hour.
Yeah, sure. It's also the Monster Cast because it's 3 Monster Hours instead of the Daily Defense 1 hour
right.
show.
I like that. Yes, it is. It is the Monster Cast.
All right. Dial it back.
Wait, loudest conservative voice in America. Somebody's got to do it. Maybe we can get Quang to give a monster voice too when he comes.
When I started in this industry, they told me never to do my own sound effects, so I'm going to relay that advice over to you as well.
Okay. We don't play by the rules, man. There are no rules in rock and roll. Let's go.
No food or drink in studio. Anyways, if you want to watch the show, just head on over to YouTube
hold on a
or
second.
Rumble.
By the way, no more Celsiuses and no more sugar-free Red Bulls. I found this sparkling ice caffeinated blueberry flavored zero sugar water, and it's really good.
All right.
And I like it. And the Celsius is like 240 milligrams of caffeine. This is 80, so it's doable and it tastes good. No food or drink in studio. I'll let Greg talk while I have a sip of my ice caffeinated blueberry zero sugar water.
I'm breaking rule number 1. All right. I'm places to watch the show. Again, let me handle this. Going to be YouTube and Rumble. Just search for Armed American Radio with Mark Walters. Over on X, we're at AAR Mark. You can also head over to armedamericanradio.org or .com, hit that menu icon, then select your watch live or listen live option. And lastly, to join our live chat, just download Telegram, create your profile, and search for Armed American Radio Conversations.
Quang Nguyen, Arizona rep, my dear friend. Welcome in. You got to give us your greatest monster voice. Give it to us.
I don't know, man. That sounds better. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Wait, hold on. It's not. It's this. Merry Christmas.
Is that Krampus?
I can't do this.
Oh my God. Well, you're out in California. I hope you're keeping a monster face on while you're out there. Good heavens.
Yeah, I actually got myself vaccinated before I crossed the border.
Oh no. No, he's talking about he got a Californication vaccination, which that's cool. That's good. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, anti-vaccine except for this particular case.
Yeah, hey Greg, can you picture this? This is fun. When he said that, I got this visual of Quang walking up to the grocery store, pharmacy. Hey, I'm going to California Tuesday. Can I get vaccinated, please? I need a anti-commie vax. You got any anti-commie vaccinations? And if she's looked at you funny, just give her your monster voice, Quang. That was really good. Go,
There you go. How are you guys doing?
Oh man, we're doing good. I'll let Greg answer that one for himself.
Not too bad. Been sick all week, but here I am.
Yeah, when he was sick as a dog too, man. He called. He said,
"Oh man."
Yeah, he gave me one of those. It wasn't like a kid pretending. It was one of those. Man, I feel like crap. I'm not coming in today. One of those things.
That was a text.
It was a text.
Glad to have you back, Greg.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Yeah, and by the way, I've had some questions. Alan was under the weather too for a couple weeks. Alan Gottlieb, and
a lot of people got hit this week with like flu-like stuff.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. My wife has been sick for about 2.5 weeks, and she's about over it. She's just now starting to pull out of it. But, yeah, so anyway, we're glad you're here, Quang. We love you, man. Welcome back to the program, brother. It's always a pleasure. So,
I appreciate it.
I was really disappointed when I saw Arizona got an F grade because Arizona's an A in my book. My kids are just now landing, like in about 8 minutes on their way back from beautiful Phoenix and Scottsdale, and they loved it out there. And they give Arizona an A. But, well, what organization gave you an F?
Yeah, the Giffords, between Mark Kelly and Gabby Gifford, they decided to give Arizona an F minus. Now, I just want to make sure that the clarification is this: I'm not responsible for the F grade. What I am responsible for is maintaining that F grade as the chair of Jude, where you go in and you become a gatekeeper to defend the Second Amendment. And so, yeah, the F grade had been there before I showed up. And I'm glad to be a part of the system where I can actually prevent us from moving upward.
It's funny, ladies and gentlemen. I have actually been in Quang's office at the house in Arizona not that long ago, actually just a few months back. And I had a great time. And Quang was kind enough to give me a shout out on the house floor on the record. It was wonderful. What was interesting, Greg, because you get a couple Democrats walked in with the office while I was there and put a couple anti-gun bills on his desk, and Quang jumped up and looked at him and went, turned his shredder on. because that's why we call him the shredder. He doesn't play with anti-gun bills, man. Quang, how many have you shredded, and then how many do you expect to shred this coming legislative session, which is getting ready to start?
Yeah,
man?
so 74 in 3 years. That's an average of over 20 per year, and I do not expect any less than 30 this year. As a matter of fact, people are, I believe it was Representative Nancy Gutierrez who actually made a comment on the Phoenix Times that I'm very difficult to deal with. I mean,
Good.
I'm not difficult with you, Mark. Greg, I'm not difficult with you. So I don't know why Nancy Gutierrez thought it was frustrating to deal with me. But, oh, well, I'm doing my best. I'm doing my job.
I think it was the monster mask and the growl that got to her, And, that's an idea. You ought to wear that on the floor of the House sometime. That'd be hilarious. My next trip in, I'm going to
Mark, do not challenge me on stuff like that.
I think we've got a Halloween costume for you.
Yeah, okay, okay, so, all right, this is coming up, guys. I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm going to have to make a run and do that. Oh, golly, that's unbelievable. Well, you wear that F grade with a badge of honor because, ladies and gentlemen, when you're getting an F from these losers and lunatic liars and hypocrites, you're doing something right. So God bless you, and everybody in Arizona should thank you for maintaining that F record. But I do want to point out, you also have some enemies out there too, which is mind-boggling to me. I get primaries and all that fun stuff, but, that's politics. It's a rough and tumble sport, and you expect that. But are there Republicans out there that don't think you do enough for the right to bear arms? You don't have to name names.
Yeah. And I think you and I had a conversation a few days ago. A Republican supporter and who actually belongs to one of those, quite famous organization in the state of Arizona, made the point that I'm a self-proclaimed Second Amendment guy. And I laughed about it because you don't get national recognition to do one of those self-proclaimed deals. If you know what he marked. I mean, I don't get to be on your radio show because I'm a self-proclaimed Second Amendment guy. I think through the years of being the president of Arizona State Rifle and Pistol Association, and through the years of teaching kids how to shoot at the national level, I don't have anything to apologize for at all.
No.
Yeah.
Well, that fascinates me because, as I said, ladies and gentlemen, I've been out there. I've watched Quang work on the floor, and I know what you've done, and that is baffling to me. Obviously, I understand there's political enemies, and people will say what they want in politics to try to get elected and all this nonsense. We're getting ready to take a break, Quang, so I'll take this to the break and get your comments when we come back. Then I want to turn the tables over to Australia with you and what the gun grabbers have in store for us here in the United States based off the Australian model when we come back. But it is baffling to me that we know what your record is, and someone would say that about you. That's mind-boggling, but that's politics, ladies and gentlemen. It just kind of is what it is. In the meantime, Quang, you're not going anywhere. We love you here because we know what you do on behalf of our Second Amendment, not just in Arizona, but across the country, because what you do and the work that you do is a model for the rest of us. We love you, and we're proud of you for what you do in Arizona. When we come back, we've got 3 more segments with Quang Nguyen, Arizona House Representative and the House Judiciary Chair in the great state of Arizona. We'll be back with Quang right after the break. Don't go away.
The following segment of Armed American Radio is proudly being brought to you by the National Rifle Association. Help us defend freedom by visiting nra.org/AAR and join today. Welcome back to the show.
Indeed. Welcome back to the Car Firearms Group Studios. Mark Walters in front of the CZ microphone here at the Patriot Mobile Command Center. Got the cool Patriot Mobile hat on. Love this hat and love Patriot Mobile. My kids had an opportunity, Greg, in Dallas, to meet the Patriot Mobile staff while they were in Arizona, and they had a great time. They had a wonderful time. They coming back with some cool shirts and stuff. They took good care of them. Patriot Mobile will take good care of you too, ladies and gentlemen. PatriotMobile.com/AAR. Use that promo code. Get a free month. You can move 1, 2, 3, 4. You can move all your phones. Or you can do one at a time. It doesn't matter. But give your money to a company that donates back to the causes that you support. And as far as this program is concerned, they wear their support for the Second Amendment on their sleeve, just like I do right here. That's the Second Amendment if you're watching me on camera. They're right there on my arm. You gotta love it. Right? We the people. They support you. They support me. They support us. They support this endeavor. So please support them back. It's easy to do. Pick up a Patriot Mobile phone. Get great service, a free month, and you get up to a $500 credit if you flop a phone over. It's pretty simple to do. It only takes about 20 minutes. PatriotMobile.com/AAR. And you can find them and all of our great sponsors at ArmedAmericanRadio.com. And I do want to welcome a big shout out. We'll have more coming up, and a real big intro and everything, likely next Sunday, as we welcome Blackout Coffee to the family. And they welcome us to their family. So it's a win-win all the way around. Quang Nguyen, Arizona State Representative and House Judiciary Chair. So Quang, fix me if I'm broken, okay? We were talking about, F grades and all this stuff. And I mean, it's just politics, right? And I just want to tell you, just keep doing what you're doing, because you're doing everything right. The rest of us around the country see what you're doing in Arizona. It becomes a model for other House Judiciary chairs to follow your lead. And I know you work amongst all these people and you talk to them from time to time. You meet with them in locations. And you get good grades from all of us. And as long as you keep upholding that F grade, man, it's a win-win for us, Quang.
Yes, sir. And, I'm proud. I've always said it's a team sport, right? It needs you. It needs the Second Amendment Foundation, GOA, ASRPA, AZCDL, and every other local gun organizations within the state of Arizona. And it's a team sport. We got to stick together. But unfortunately, since 2022, I've never had an easy primary. Somebody's always running against me or against us. And one of the things I always said is, I made it to chairman of the House Judiciary. Why would you want to get rid of me when I'm the guy that actually the gatekeeper for all the bad criminal justice reform bills, all the fentanyl, all the child trafficking, human trafficking, and so on. I'm the gatekeeper for all of that, not just the Second Amendment.
Right.
So by getting rid of me, Legislative District 1 would actually lose leadership.
I don't think it's going to happen, Quang.
It's annoying.
But it's politics, right?
You have to defend yourself.
It's politics. I mean, I get it. We know how the game is played. It's a rough and tumble sport, and you know it better than anybody else because you're neck deep in it. And I've had the absolute honor to meet the head of the floor, the majority leader there, and everybody else in your team that you work with, and they're all wonderful people. So I think you've got a great team, and I think your team gets it. So whatever help we can do for you when the primaries come up, we're here for you, brother. It's pretty much that simple. Now let's pivot.
Yeah.
Let's pivot over to Australia, because we saw what happened. We had a terrorist attack. You and I have talked briefly about it off air, but we'll talk about it on air now in front of the mics while they're live. The Australian Prime Minister now is screaming that, and it's a done deal. They're going to confiscate guns. They've made that clear. He can do that there, I guess, and their system is different than ours. They do not have a Second Amendment. And here Australians now are going to bear the brunt of 2 Muslim terrorists and their actions. And who's going to be punished? Every single law-abiding citizen in Australia is going to be published. Will future terrorists pay attention to the gun confiscation?
Absolutely. I mean, I would be celebrating right now if I'm one of those guys, right? Yeah. If I'm a terrorist, I'd be celebrating right now because I know the guy next to me or the car next to me isn't going to be able to defend himself or herself. That is a sad state. And I hope that we don't ever get to a place in the United States that we can say, hey, we're going to go ahead and confiscate your guns. I mean, I hope we never get there. I don't think we'll get there, but you know what? I'm going to go to work every day as if we're about to lose our guns.
Well, you have to, because part of what we were talking about the previous hour with AWR and with Neil McCabe is this complacency issue. And I'll go back to what I said to them, and I'll say it to you to get your thoughts on it. But as you know, my kids were at Turning Point. They had a wonderful time. I watched as many speeches as I could, and I didn't see any focus on the Second Amendment, which disappointed me. Now, I understand why, and I'll tell you why, because there's no fear there right now. It's not something that a lot of the speakers felt that they had to focus on because Trump is in office. There's no threat of our guns being taken away. However, as far as I'm concerned, it's a huge mistake right now. They should have been talking about it even more, because now's when we need to be on the gas, and we can literally put gun control to bed. We're hopefully going to do it with a couple cases at the Supreme Court, which are still in conference, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. None of the 4 or 5 2A cases have been removed from conference. They've been pushed forward. So we're keeping an eye on that, and we'll talk with our guests coming about that in future shows as that begins to unfold. But Quang, I think you'll agree with me that now we need to put our foot on the gas. I want to see more talk about the 2A when we have the upper hand. This is how we put it to bed, is it not?
You know what? It's called complacency.
Mm-hmm.
So you notice that we have a Democrat president, and everybody is buying ammo, taking classes, buying additional guns. But when we have a solid Republican in the White House, we all seem to be just relaxing. Instead of relaxing, we should be, like you said, hey, foot down heavy. But we're not doing that. We're not doing that. People like me are expendable. People like me who actually work on policy to defend the Second Amendment are being primary. I'm always wondering why. You know what? Quang is just a one-issue kind of guy. We don't need people like him. Well, I hate to say this. I used to say you're welcome. But now I'm beginning to see that these people really don't care much. We don't talk about it nationally anymore, except for people like the Second Amendment Foundation and yourself and so on, and AZCDL. But we don't see people talk too much about the Second Amendment anymore. Why? Because we have a president and we have some crazy guy in the state house that are actually killing a ton of bills. So we don't need to talk about it anymore. But when I'm out of office, which is not too long from now, I kind of worry.
Well, you should. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening in Arizona, it doesn't matter where you are, but you can just kind of juxtapose this to your own people, your own elected officials. As we go to the break, we'll wrap up with this, but you'd better be paying attention to what you're hearing from Quang. And the reason that it's so vital and so important is because he understands that you do need to put your foot on the gas. And guess what? The political career is going to end at some point in time, and someone else is going to be there. And Arizona's very close, too close for comfort, to be honest with you, that it could flip. And if it does flip, can you imagine the other side's House Judiciary Chair and what they're going to want to do with gun control bills? They're not going to be nicknamed the Shredder, I can promise you that. It's going to be just the opposite. We've got 2 more segments with Quang Nguyen right after this. Don't go away. Back on Armed American Radio's Monstercast here from the Car Firearms Group studios. See you on the flip side of the break.
Hi, it's Mike Gallagher wanting to let you know that the crew of the Desperado Sport Fish in Virginia Beach, Virginia supports Armed American Radio and the Second Amendment, and I'm right there with them. Now back to Mark Walters.
Yeah, thanks, Mike Gallagher. Appreciate that rejoin. Ladies and gentlemen, 2 more segments left in today's Monster Cast, and we're going to call it a week. There's going to be an encore coming up in the next hour for the roundtable so we can give everybody a good head start to their week. A lot of people doing some traveling, including our crew, and we appreciate them very much. We thank them for their efforts, and when we can give them some time off because they don't get paid for being here. And I love it, man, that they can't wait to come on. They'll stop what they're doing. Well, it's Christmas, so enjoy their time, and we hope that you're getting ready to do the same thing. We're certainly going to give it a shot here. We'll have Ryan Petty on the program for you tomorrow. We'll tape it up about an hour before the program. Have a nice conversation with Ryan, and then we'll kick the week off as well. So Merry Christmas to each and every one of you. Welcome back to the program. It's great to be here with you. Always fun to be here with you on the Monster Cast. Mark Walters filling your prescription for freedom here in the Car Firearms Group studios in front of the CZ mic at the Patriot Mobile Ranch. And, of course, it's all brought to you by the National Rifle Association. Please join them. We need your help. Just give us 1 year, $35, okay? Help us out. We really need you. We've got to get this thing back up to the beast. And when you listen to people like Quang Nguyen, who is in the belly of the beast in the State House in Arizona, you understand how important it is. And Quang, welcome back to the show, my friend. This is such an opportunity. Like I said, when I watched The Turning Point, I was disappointed because I thought, what a missed opportunity this is to bring this subject up when we should be mashing on that accelerator and have that thing all the way to the floor right now. It's disappointing. And I do know some people within the organization. I've already reached out, and it would be great to have somebody come in. I would love to speak there. It would be a tremendous amount of fun and rile these kids up. And I know from history, from my own kids being there, the support of the Second Amendment at these rallies and these fests like America Fest are just chock full of Second Amendment supporters. And I really wish they would hear more. Why do you suppose? Obviously, there's the complacency issue. But why do you believe that happens? Why aren't people talking about it like we're talking about it? You know, and it's reflected in the industry. The industry is down right now. Trump's in office. No, I don't have to worry about my guns. You walk in the local gun shops around here, their stash is half of what it used to be. The floors are empty. I hate to see that. And I know the numbers in the community itself. Some of the numbers are as low as 46%. A lot of manufacturers are doing great, but many are not. Why do you suppose that is?
Well, you know, like you said, what a missed opportunity. You have young voters there, young Republicans, young conservatives being there. What an opportunity to come out and say, you know what, A, B, C, D, and by the way, do not put us down on the bottom. Put the Second Amendment all the way down to the bottom and say, oh, by the way, there's a thing called the Second Amendment. And, you know, let's welcome Mr. Mark Walters. And by the way, congratulations on being the nominee of the Gun Deal Awards. And I've been voting for you like a Democrat, man, multiple times, often, every day. So trust me, it's the only time I feel liberal about myself is voting for you multiple times. But once again, I don't have an answer. I think it's because of complacency, it's not worth mentioning. Or the people organize the event, and I don't know any of those people, by the way. I don't know any of those people. Those people that are organizing the event just simply don't think about your gun rights at all. So no matter how conservative you are, if you don't talk about gun rights, I kind of look at you as not really being all that conservative. You don't bring it up at a national level, at an event with thousands of people attending, young people especially. We got to get young people into shooting guns, because if you don't, you're not going to have old people shooting guns in the sports would eventually die. And that's how I see it.
Well, that's point blank, right to the bottom line. You're right. You know, now this comes up. Of course, Charlie Kirk was murdered, and a gun was used. But Charlie Kirk would be the first one to tell you to step up and talk about the Second Amendment. It has nothing to do with what happened to Charlie. That was a murderer who used a firearm to commit an evil act. The gun's not evil. The person is evil. And Charlie Kirk knew that. He knew that at his core. He talked about it. He understood that. So that's not an excuse that I want to hear from anybody as to why it wasn't brought up. I would like to know, rather than seeing the infighting that I saw, and it was kind of fun to watch, talked about it with Neil McCabe. You had Ben Shapiro going at it, you know, Tucker Carlson going at it. Spend more time focusing on some of these other issues is something that I was thinking about. And I did wonder, did it have something to do with that? Because the Second Amendment has come up at these events before, and there's a lot of Second Amendment supporters there, and some speak on behalf of the Second Amendment. So I was a little bit disappointed in that. I think you're right. To me, I was disappointed because it just was such a huge missed opportunity with 30+ thousand young conservatives who are getting ready to take the reins and make a huge difference in this country. And I really want to see that as part of their focus, because what happens next, God forbid, ladies and gentlemen, but it's going to happen at some point. A Democrat will eventually be back in office. And when that happens, I can promise you the first thing they're going to do is run on gun control. In fact, they're going to run on gun control coming up in 2028, Quang. Will they not?
Absolutely, absolutely. But I will say this: at the highest level, Mark Walters should be there to speak. At the lowest level, and nobody knows me, I should have been invited to talk about the Second Amendment, what we should do, because at the end of the day, I'm the guy representing Arizona to defend the Second Amendment. But those are the kind of conversations that I never hear about from leadership in terms of those organizations out there. 2028, after 2028, I will not be in office, and I'm going to hold my breath. I'm going to see who's going to replace me and who leadership will be appointing to do the same job I do. Now, I get it. There are all kinds of issues within the judiciary space, but the biggest issue is to make sure you have someone there to kill every single bad gun bill. And that's what I fear. And I know you and I spoke on the side about this thing. You have the same concerns.
And they're legitimate concerns, particularly when I see some of the comments coming at you from, quote unquote, our side. It's disappointing. And that doesn't just happen, ladies and gentlemen, in Arizona. It happens across the country, and it happens in your state as well. When we get ready to see what's getting ready to happen in Virginia, guys, the same thing can happen to you. And Virginia, we haven't talked about Virginia much over the last few weeks. I will say this about Virginia. When you look at what's getting ready to happen in Australia, Quang, I think you'll agree with me here. Do you believe that the American gun grabbers are going to use that as a talking point, as Kamala Harris did? And she was caught on tape many times talking about it. It came up during the campaign when she was installed in a very undemocratic process, I might add, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Just throw that dig in because we can.
Go
ahead.
So unfortunately, the Australians are actually learning from us. I mean, groups like Moms for Demands Action and the Giffords, they actually gave Australia the talking point. So we're not going to learn anything from them. All we do is seeing what could actually happen when you take away guns. And they're going to continue to produce new talking points, and people around the world will adopt those things. That's what scares me, is that we're the one actually producing the talking points, even within the state of Arizona. And it's like, I don't know if you ever dealt with these people, but I have dealt with them sitting in my office, and they're like literally a bunch of zombies just reciting talking points. But when you trying to push them back a little bit about actual policy, the Second Amendment, this blank stare just coming at you, including they'll bring an attorney into my office and they'll sit there and try to confront me. And I just look at him like, okay, I'm going to ask you a series of questions. Amazingly, they just look at you like they're dead people, no soul, and just continue to spew out talking points. It is amazing. And when if we lose the Republican control of the legislature, I guarantee you, within the first 2 weeks of their control, they will repeal just about everything that we've been working on for the last 25 years.
They were also, as we'll take this to the break, they will also rejuvenate every bill you shredded. And again, that's what's getting ready to happen in Virginia. Mark my word, it's coming. There is no way around it. Virginia is in big trouble. Why? Because Democrats are in control everywhere. Watch what happens in Virginia. We will be right about that. We'll be talking about it mid-November. We'll be back. One more segment with Quang. Don't go away.
segment. And
Martin, it looks like your comments in the chat are pretty solid. We're going to check with Quang, see if he'll give us a monster growl for a new intro. That's funny.
30. I think we can get a pretty good one out of the first half of the hour.
Yeah, we've already got it. We've already got the drop for sure.
If you own a firearm, you know that a self-defense incident can happen anytime. That's why you need Attorneys on Retainer. They're the only self-defense program backed by real attorneys who specialize in self-defense cases. Visit them online at attorneysonretainer.us. Welcome back.
Yeah, guys, that's one of the smartest things you can do, honestly, is Attorneys on Retainer and put this card in your wallet. Now, February 20th to the 21st, the AOR annual convention is going to be happening, and some of the people that you'll meet there, if you're a member and show up at this, and it's a huge event, you'll love this. But a lot of 2A content creators, including Jared Yanis, host of Guns and Gadgets, Anthony Miranda, the host of Armed Scholar, Paul Glasgow, the host of Legally Armed America, myself, Alan Gottlieb will be there, and many, many others. Okay, so please show up and be there, but you got to be a member to join. It's the Road to Liberty Forum will be taking place, a welcome reception on Friday the 20th. Lots of fun stuff going on, and in that you're going to get an inside look at how the Freedom firm, the Attorneys for Freedom law firm, actually handles self-defense cases. You will meet with the attorneys who defend you as a member in critical moments, meaning your life is on the line and your freedom and your financial future is on the line. Live Q&A sessions, breakouts, legal insights, real-world case breakdowns, top firearms de-escalation, defensive tactic experts with hands-on. We'll host hands-on experience sessions. Second Amendment leading advocates will share legislative updates, practical advocacy steps, and everything that you can do. It's a great 2 days, and it's out there in beautiful Chandler, Arizona, right out there just outside of Phoenix. So won't you join us? It's real simple, attorneysonretainer.us. Use the promo code AAR. The price is going to go up January 1. It'll be nominal, but it's going to go up. So keep it locked in till 2030 at $35 a month. It's a no-brainer. Use the promo code AAR and thank them for supporting this program. They are wonderful people. They have your back. I trust my family with them. You can do the same thing, okay? Attorneysonretainer.us, no-brainer. Give that for yourself and your family as a Christmas gift. It's the best thing you can do. I can promise you, you will sleep easier at night. There is no question about it. Attorneysonretainer.us, promo code AAR. Visit all of our great partners. You can find all of our sponsors at armedamericanradio.com. And that includes Crossbreed Holsters. It includes Car Arms. It includes CZ, Patriot Mobile, Barrel Buddy. Okay, and we welcome our newest sponsor. I can't wait to work with these gentlemen. It's going to be an awful lot of fun. We've hooked up with Blackout Coffee, and those guys are going to be here. Hopefully next Sunday we'll make that big announcement. We'll just make the formal announcement. You'll start hearing some of the spots and the live reads and all that cool stuff, and it's a great product and really good supporters of Armed American Radio. We appreciate them jumping in. Quang Nguyen, we've got one more segment with you. What's left of it, so welcome in, brother.
Yes, sir. I really appreciate you having me on.
Oh, it's always a pleasure, man. So you're out in California now. You talked about getting vaccinated, before you go out there. But Quang, when I was talking with Ryan Petty, well, let me say this: when we were having a private conversation, and he was out there on business for a number of days, and during that conversation, it's going to come up tomorrow when I have him on the program. There's no question about it in my mind. But California, and you were out there. You were out there for the Second Amendment Foundation in San Diego, right? You were there,
right?
In San
Correct,
Diego,
last year.
It's such a beautiful place. But when you go to California, you're there now. If you're like me, I can't put the politics aside when I'm there at this point. I couldn't watch the news there. I couldn't live under a Gavin Newsom. It's very frustrating. It's maddening to me. How do you feel when you're out there coming from a free state?
Well, let me put it this way. I don't have a single gun. Maybe I do have a 1911 that would be
California
acceptable here in the state of California.
Yeah.
So I don't have anything that you would ever call California compliant. And, my kids are going to take my wife and I to Disneyland. I'm going to be there with 40,000 people, and I feel totally naked, not being able to arm. I mean, that's just the feeling that I have. I'm very uncomfortable. I would rather be sitting home watching football or something than to go out to the mall or go out to the restaurant unprotected. And that's how I feel about it. But there is no way I would ever want to come back to California with the gas price the way it is, the politics, the traffic. And I jokingly said, the traffic is so bad, I'm actually fighting socialists and communists, to get to my destination. It's just a beautiful place, but you just can't get your mind there to be peaceful.
It is hard. What part of California are you in right now?
I'm in Orange County.
Okay.
It used to be a pretty conservative place, and it's not anymore. It used to be Ronald Reagan, and I used to work for Fluor Corporation. It was actually a very conservative company. But we're getting smaller and smaller, and we become more and more of a minority. As if you have a conservative thought in your mind, you're just outnumbered by 100 to 1, and so it's really, really unfortunate. I come back because I have to, not because I want to. So
that is unfortunate. That is unfortunate because it is a very beautiful place. It's a gorgeous state. Been there, surfed it. I don't care if I ever go back again. And it's sad to say that about an American state. We're talking about an American state. It's frustrating to me, but I could not. I don't think I could. I don't think I could. Do not believe, honestly, in my soul, I do not believe I could stomach the politics and the local news and everything else. That would drive me crazy. It would drive me nuts.
Yeah, occasionally, Mark, you and I talked about. I would get an email inviting me to come to California and reestablish residency and run for office. And I get them from Tennessee. I get them from Colorado. I get them from Virginia even. And I don't think I can survive in any of those places. And obviously, it's the conservative from blue districts that are wanting me to come and help out. But while I feel honor and I feel special about it, but I think I'm going to stay right here in Arizona until my political career is over, and hopefully I can contribute to the protection of the Second Amendment. I mean, if I can do just a tiny little bit more, I'd be happy.
Have you considered running for higher office?
Once in a while it crosses my mind. It is a lot of money, especially you have to sit around and wait for a seat to open up. But yeah, it's there. I don't think about it too much, but it's there.
Boy, would I love to see you run against somebody like Mark Kelly. Oh boy.
Yeah, well, he's got about $30 million, and I got $0. As a matter of fact, I got like $11,000.
That you get a nomination, you get in the fight. Those coffers will grow. There's no doubt, and there's no doubt that you would have support by a lot of great organizations around the country. You'd have a tremendous amount of Second Amendment report. And it's always frustrated me. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, when we were leaving to go to the last break, I said about Virginia, we're getting ready to see what happens. I think I might have said November. I meant to say January. But Quang, anyway, we're getting ready to call it quits, brother. You'd have a tremendous amount of support, but it's frustrating for me. If every Republican would just run on that 2A, they're going to win those races. But they don't. They're not smart about it. You got 20 seconds. Go ahead.
So I would tell you this. If you respect 2A, I'm going to go ahead and make the assumption that you're going to be small government, you're going to be fiscally conservative.
Right.
Just the fact that you're 2A alone, I would trust you to be my representative. But thank you so much, Mark.
I would certainly trust you. I would certainly trust you. Quang, I'm going to give you a call when we get off the air here in just a moment. So go ahead and cut the line off now. Thank you for being here, brother. We love you. You're a true patriot and an American hero, and we love you very much. Thanks for everything that you do. And I know Arizonans support you, as evidenced by the fact that you keep getting elected. And God bless you for being there doing what you do. Ladies and gentlemen, Merry Christmas to every single one of you. Tomorrow, I'll have Ryan Petty on the Armed American Radio Daily Defense. We're going to tape it up beforehand, get everybody out a little bit early, and we will be back live for you on the Monster Cast on Sunday. We're going to take a week off and spend it with our families. Hope you do the same. Merry Christmas, everybody. I love you. In case nobody's told you that today and there's not a thing you can do about it. Merry Christmas, folks. We'll see you live again tomorrow and then Sunday.
You just filled your prescription for freedom with Mark Walters, presented by the National Rifle Association. The National Rifle Association on the Armed American Radio Network.
All right, guys, that's it for us. We've got an encore coming up in the next hour. Not sure what Greg's got in there, but it might be last week's roundtable. Either way, I'll be back tomorrow on Armed American Radio's Daily Defense with great Ryan Petty, and then we'll start our week off. We hope you do the same thing. Take some downtime, guys. You know, put these things down. Touch the grass. Spend time with your family. Enjoy the holiday. All right? Enjoy Christmas. Remember what it's all about. And we'll see you again live on Sunday's Monster Cast. Well, tomorrow we'll be taped up an hour early for you, but we'll be here for you tomorrow. But also Sunday we'll be back live. So enjoy your week. We're going to try to do the same thing. And just tell you right now, Merry Christmas, man. Love each and every one of you. And thanks to all of our affiliates. Please visit all of our partners and sponsors. They make it all possible as we're getting ready to round the corner and head into 2026, if you can believe that. Good heavens, another trip around the sun, right? Guys, thank you for everything. Thank you for being here. Love you. Merry Christmas. See you on the radio.